And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. As you guys can tell, I have a full house joining us today, and I'm really excited about this. So, if it's your first time joining us on the Amazon side, welcome. If you guys are new to us, make sure you guys hit that follow button. You'll see it here in this corner or down below. Also, you will see some, and I do mean some of the books of our next guest, and it's guest with an S on it. I'm really excited to be able to welcome to our broadcast today some of the presenters of our upcoming Writers Conference, The Right Stuff, that's coming up on April the 19th and the 20th. Because this is a special celebration, we also are simulcasting this on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and as well as on X as well. So I'm excited to welcome to our broadcast today. You guys see there, Miss Lisa Sadler. You guys know as a publisher of Hardcore Grind magazine. We have award-winning author Melissa Banks joining us, Dr. Velma Bagby. We have best-selling author Robert Blake Whitehill joining us. We have award-winning author Tina Siemens. Also, we have best-selling author Manswell T. Peterson joining us as well. Thanks to all of you for being on with us. Really appreciate the time.
Thank you for having us.
Look, that the pleasure is definitely all mine. This is very exciting. I typically have these panels for other people's projects. It's my first time having one for my own, but glad you all could be with us. Hello to you, Gregory. Gregory's joining us over on the Facebook side. He says hello as well. Appreciate you being with us. So I want to tell our audience a little bit about what's going on here. And so I'm going to be sharing my screen quite a bit. As I mentioned, I'm hosting my first of the year writers conference coming up this year. It's called The Right Stuff. And this is very exciting for me, as you guys can see there on the screen. It's coming up on April the 19th and the 20th. It is a virtual conference, and all of our guests today are going to be speaking during the conference, sharing what they've been able to learn and helping both aspiring authors as well as, of course, those who have been writing for some time to not only be able to hone their crafts, but also to be able to better fine tune their voice. So, again, I'm so glad to have all of you joining us today as some of our presenters. I'm going to go through and talk to each one of you individually, starting off. Tina, I'm going to start with you. Tina, what has it been like for you to share your own writing journey with the world?
It is truly a privilege to be able to put from paper to doing lives and to letting the world know that we we have a story, and the story is so much more when we share it with others. So for me, it's been an amazing journey to get my thoughts onto paper and then now to sharing it with the world.
Love that. And we're glad that you've been able to do that. Alicia Sadler, you wear many hats. You, as I mentioned, are the publisher of Hardcore Grind magazine. We're going to highlight it for our audience in the carousel on the Amazon side, but you also, of course, do work on the media side as well. What has it been like for you, Alicia, to be able to do work that you love and to be able to help support authors too?
Man, it's amazing. I have met some amazing people on my journey. I've had some amazing experiences. I love to be able to give a 31 flavors type of experience to whomever I come across, because I think that books is kind of like walking into 31 flavors Baskin Robbins. You never know what you like until you get the little pink spoon and you say, "Ooh, what does that taste like? What does that taste like?" So I love to be able to bring authors and readers together so that readers can get a taste of a different feel of a different kind of reading palette.
Right. Love that. Love that, Alicia. Thank you for that. We have best-selling author Manswell T. Peterson joining us as well. Manswell, same question to you. What has it been like for you to not only to connect with your readers, but also to inspire authors too?
Well, the most important thing for me is to tell authors to challenge themselves, tell readers to open their minds. And that is why I'm in 7 different genres. And it's always a challenge. I always push myself and I push other authors as well, because you never know what you can do until you do it. And that's my biggest thing. So, as you know, all gas, no brakes is my mantra. We're always going to try new stuff. And I'm always pushing that to authors and readers alike.
Love that. Dr. Velma Bagby, speaking of being in different genres, you've been able to do that too with nonfiction and fiction. What has it been like for you, Dr. Velma, to connect with readers, but also, of course, to be able to build a community of authors around you as well?
It's been a beautiful journey, really, because it's the readers that builds your writer's career. It's the readers that's been driving the recent series. So it's really beneficial that I've been able to write in a way that connected with them and that they pressed me to write more. So it's an exciting journey.
Love that. Love that. Robert, you and Robert is kind of the OG of the group. I've known Robert the longest. Um, so, Robert, I'm so glad that this is our first project working together on. So, I want to thank you for being a part of this. You bring so much knowledge and wisdom to this conference, as well as, of course, successes as well. What has it been like for you, Robert, to be able not only to connect with your readers and authors, but also, as our audience will find out in the conference, you've also been able to see the other side, which is the dream of a lot of authors, being able to work with individuals and bring their words to life through film.
Well, first of all, it's an honor to be here with this august company. It's really a pleasure. And well, when I wrote the first book in the Ben Blackshaw series, I was writing alone and didn't know if there was an audience there. And then once I published, lo and behold, there were readers out there, and it was not only an honor to connect with them and to know that they were happy with the work, but they turned a book that I thought was going to be a one-off into a series that's got 6 titles already.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's less lonely, but a little bit harder work knowing that there's an audience out there with certain expectations. And on the screenwriting side and adaptation side, where writing a book is more an author to reader relationship, writing a screenplay becomes a screenwriter to production company, more of a business to business relationship. And I'll be happy to talk with you and your audience about that as we go along.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we're so glad to have you. Last but certainly not least is Melissa Banks. Melissa, what has it been like for you? You said on this program before here on Amazon that if someone had told you that you would be an author, let alone a best-selling author now, with 3 books out there, you wouldn't have believed it. But what has it been like for you to connect with your readers and audience?
This whole author journey, guys, I'm so excited to be in the company. It's like a dream right now to just be sitting here with all these amazing authors and me. It just still seems like a dream to me. When the first book came out, you know this, Cyrus, I never dreamed that I would even do something like that. I just have a passion for pouring into people and making them believe in themselves and pushing them to go further than they ever thought possible. Once I started writing, which is still weird when I say it, when I'm thinking about me, it still feels like a dream. And I'm so excited. Each step that I take, there's so much excitement and so much new, and meeting so many new people and reaching so many people in this space that I never thought was possible. So I'm super excited to just be here and be in this space with all of you.
Well, look, we're glad to be able to have you. I'm glad to be able to have all of you here. And I want to say each one of you was handpicked by me, for one, because of the respect I have for all of you, but also what I know people can take away from what you have to share. Now, one individual who cannot be with us because she's under the weather is Dr. Dr. Theresa A. Smith, but I definitely wanted to be able to spotlight her as well. Because she's going to be sharing with us at the conference too about the importance of sharing your own story. So Dr. Theresa A. Smith couldn't be with us for this conversation, but she is a part of the conference. I'm excited about being able to have her here to be able to talk about what it's been like for her to be vulnerable and share her own story with the world, and what it's like for her to share the importance of that as well. So I want to talk to each one of you as we kind of go throughout this conversation about, you know, being able to embrace yourself as an authority. I think it's something that is not always easy to be able to do. So I want to begin with you, Melissa. What has that been like for you as an author to embrace yourself, not only as a published author, but as an authority too?
But that's really the hard part, recognizing that you've worked hard. My first 3 books are about encouragement and inspiring. And then the last book, I went into the business side of what I do as an event planner. But in each area, you build confidence in yourself, but you also have to learn not to think you have to know it all, it has to be perfect when you put it out. But if you speak from the heart, which is one of what I'll be speaking about at the conference, you gain more and more confidence in what you do. You know that it's a whole different area for me, but it was something that was in my gut. I believe that when you're speaking about something that you really believe in, it's easier. It comes out cleaner. It's easier to consider yourself. I know what I'm talking about. But it's been a journey and it's been a process for me because I'm one of those people that because of my career thought everything has to be in order, everything has to be perfect. And what I've learned in this world, you have to get out your words. You have to get out the story you want to share. You have to get out the mission and connect with the people that relate to you. And that builds your confidence and as you establish yourself as an authority.
Yeah, such a great point. Dr. Bam, I want to go with you with that same question. What has that been like for you as an author to really to show up as an authority in your field and in your genres?
Well, I've had at least 30 years of counseling um, single women as well as assisting my husband as a pastor in pre-marriage counseling sessions. And so just having those conversations over that time period and watching the different patterns that I thought were just hurting those who really had a desire to discover the mate that they wanted. And yet being trained in, I'm also an ordained minister, and being trained in expounding upon what the word says, I was at home with that. But when I realized that I needed to change my genre, because everyone believes that nonfiction is the way to go if you're looking for facts, if you're looking for the truth, life lessons, but that's not true. When you're able to weave the truth into fiction, you can speak louder and better and gain a larger audience because there may be people who don't know, where what scriptural references you use, and you can speak to a lot of, a larger audience that way. And that's what resulted in my finally pushing past my always has to be nonfiction. Let me try Christian contemporary fiction to see if that works. And it just jumped off so well. Using the fish analogies, where people are now looking at dating potential dates as fish and wondering, okay, are you the catfish? Are you the sturgeon? So that has really blessed me to hear the responses and to understand that although I was nervous about the jump, I jumped, and the result is that the readers have spoke loudly. And now one novel that began as one novel is now a 4-book series, working on a fifth book shortly.
Love that. We're going to hold you to that, Dr. Bauman. We're going to be looking for that 5th book. I know the 4th one just came out, but we're going to be looking for number 5. Leisha, I want to go to you with a different question, because people don't know you primarily as an author, even though you are an author, but they do know you as a media personality. And you're going to be bringing a lot of value to this conference because, one of the things I always share with people too, and our audience do as well, sometimes the writing process, people think that's the end. Getting the book published is the end, but it really is the beginning of the journey. What has that been like for you, Leisha, to share with people the importance of getting the word out about their work once it's published?
Absolutely. A lot of times I come across authors that they get frustrated being hybrid as something that you can do. And I see that they get frustrated with waiting for somebody to tell them that they are great. And I like to always encourage people that you don't have to. You can have the best of both worlds. And always you not only encourage, but you're giving people tools to
Okay, I think we may have lost Leisha there. She's having some weather issues there where she is. So, Leisha, we're going to try to come back to you there. Tina, I want to ask you a similar question. I know the writing journey was not an expected one for you initially, but what has it been like for you to show up as an authority and to show people what they can do in sharing their stories?
Well, it has given me a voice. And with history, my topic, and almost every time I speak with someone, it will slip into sharing my history. And so for me to share not only what we went through, but it has given me a launch pad to to share with others similar hardships that they may go through. But my motto is never give up. And so for me to be able to be that encourager to somebody that's listening, or somebody that I have a one-on-one time with, is just such a joy to share not only my family story, but in it, I there's so many similarities of what other people have gone through. So for me, it's just an absolutely privilege to be able to be an author and to share my story with the world.
Yeah, and we're so glad that you've been able to do that. Robert, what about for yourself? I mean, your writing journey has really been an interesting one, and it's been great to be able to watch, especially as you have given us the Ben Blackshaw books. But what has it been like for you to show up as an authority, Robert, and to remind people of what's possible?
Well, I think that first of all, just being in the room, you remind people of what's possible. The
Yeah.
other important thing, and I think some of the other speakers might relate to this, is, and they've alluded to it, is dispelling any kind of imposter syndrome that you might not
Mm.
have entitlement to speak about the matters that you're familiar with. And then the authority nature comes through in research for fiction and nonfiction, because you make yourself an authority. Because, as has been said so well, the more you know about the world you're writing about, the more you can bring into it. For instance, Ben Blackshaw is, I can talk about a spiritual side to a very rough and gruff and ready soldier type by discussing his crisis of faith. And
Hmm.
if it was all smoothed out with his relationship with the divine, it wouldn't be as interesting as if he were struggling with his relationship with the divine. So I think
Yeah.
that bringing in what I know, it helps to write about the area I grew up in and people like the people I grew up with.
Hmm.
But then also bringing in my personal experience, which nobody can validate.
Mm.
Love that. Love that. Such a great point there. And Manswell, I want to ask you the similar question. What has it been like for you to show up as an authority? And as you mentioned, you've been able to write in many genres, but what has it been like for you to feel comfortable and to own the space that you're in?
I think the first moment I really felt good about it was when I started getting contact by different school districts, and
Hmm.
they were asking me to come in and help students and teachers with creative writing.
Hmm.
That has been a thing that has been lacking in a lot of school districts because of their budgetary measures.
Mm.
But now when I go in there, I'm teaching kids, I'm teaching teachers new tricks, techniques, and that's because of the multiple genres that I'm in. And so when you look at 7 different genres, everything from romance, drama to my multiverse that I've created, it has gotten so much attention. So now when I walk in the room, I confidently know that I'm headed toward, a goal that I don't know a lot of people who've accomplished it, but I know in the short term I'll get to 100 books. And that right there within itself, next 2 or 3 years will actually put me right at 100 books or so. And it just validates everything that I've done. The research is the biggest thing, and that's what I tell everybody. You have to research, 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 research. You can't get around it. No matter how much you try to, you have to research every different genre that you're going to go into. So that's a big thing for me.
Such a great thing. That's why I'm so glad to have all of you here again. For those who are just tuning in, I see you guys really coming in on the Amazon side. I appreciate you guys. Of course, we have a great collection of authors and books for you guys to enjoy over on Amazon. So we welcome you guys. Want to reset really quickly and say I'm Cyrus Webb. You all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon. If you guys are new to us, make sure you guys do hit that follow button. You'll see it either here in this corner or down below. You also see some of the books, and I have some of them here as well, of our guests that we have joining us today. And they are all presenters for the upcoming The Right Stuff virtual conference coming up on April the 19th and 20th. And what we're going to do now is actually talk about what they're going to be discussing. And so I'm going to be bringing each one of you guys up to be able to talk about your topic and what you hope our audience is able to take away from it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here with you guys. And we're going to get things started with the one and only Tina Siemens. Tina's topic is sharing history through stories and books. So, Tina, I want to ask you, what do you hope the audience in the conference takes away from your section of the conference?
Well, I am all about knowing your history because history repeats itself. And so if we know our history, then it gives us so many opportunities to not only uh, know where our roots come from, but it anchors us in the community. It anchors us in our family. It just helps. How does my story connect with the bigger story of first my family and then my community and then nationwide? My story is a national, international story. So
Mhm.
if history is forgotten, then we have lost so much. So I am passionate about sharing history, and I hope to inspire others that they will not just want to learn their own family history, but how do they connect with the bigger picture of being a part of history, that with if my history, your history would be repeated 10 years from now, that it would make a positive influence.
So true. Hello to you, Jacqueline, joining us on the Facebook side. Next up is Robert Blake Whitehill. Robert's topic for the conference is turning the page from books to screenplays and films. So, Robert, we alluded to this earlier, but what do you hope those who join you at the conference take away from your section?
Well, I think that there's two distinct parts to what I can share, and one is the where when we're talking about fiction, we can just sit down and start writing that and enjoy the pleasure and the pain of writing a piece of fiction. But when we're adapting something into the motion image media, like a screenplay or a limited series, there's a little bit of business housekeeping we have to do. First of all, we have to make sure we've got a good grasp of the rights and that we're in touch with the people that might have originally written the work that we're hoping to adapt. There are even more complications if we're adapting our own work because we only have about 18 or 20,000 words in a screenplay, but our book might be 80, 100,000 words. And how do we figure out what to cut? And how do we figure out what to keep? So a lot of what I'm talking about is some of that business side, but also about trusting your gut to first look at the structure and understand the structure that your partners bringing your work to the screen will be looking for,
Mhm.
and then trusting your gut to feel passionately and sense those parts of the work that really move you. And those are certainly of primary importance to include in the work. I don't want to go into the whole speech right now, but those are some highlights. It's trusting your gut, but
Yeah.
also taking care of business at the same time.
Such a great point. Jacqueline says, "What a great lineup." I agree, Jacqueline. We did good with this one. It's a really powerful lineup. Next up is Melissa Banks. Melissa's topic is actually going to be kicking off the conference on the first day on April the 19th, writing from the heart. Melissa, what do you hope individuals take away from your section at the conference?
But what I know for sure is if you're not passionate about what you're writing or about what you're speaking or what you believe in, then you're not going to touch anyone or help yourself. What I know for sure is when I began to share my story and just really speaking from my heart and my passion, because your heart and your passion is connected. And when I began, the first time I spoke publicly about my story, I became so passionate about it, and every single thing changed for me. Every woman I came across, I wanted to touch her in some type of way because I'm so passionate and I go from the heart today. And I believe in our writing, if you can remember stories that you've read or somebody else's book that you read, the stories that touch you, the stories that you can't forget are the stories where they went from the heart. And I just hope to encourage someone to just speak from your heart. Don't try to get it all together. Don't try to get it all perfect. Don't try to soften it, but really delve into your story and come from your heart, because when you come from your heart, you come from your passion and you deliver to your audience what they need at that moment. I believe that everyone have an audience. I believe that we have to determine who our audience is and who relates to our story and who our story is for. And I hope when I come on Friday and inspire some others and give some tips about writing from the heart, that it'll speak to someone to move to their story and begin to share their story with the world.
Yeah, Jacqueline says absolutely, Melissa. So true. Next up is Manswell T. Peterson. His topic is how to be a jack of all trades in different genres. So, Manswell, what should people expect from your section at the conference?
Well, the biggest thing that I'm going to do is challenge everyone. I get probably 50 or more emails a week. That is why I did the author's book to help them with that. But the main thing is to challenge them to go outside the norm. Um, don't be boxed in, because the one thing you can do, your readers will box you in and say, "Well, I only like this." But there are other readers in other genres that you can actually, service with your books and entertain them with it. So I've gotten to the point now where, with my wife, I write books for small kids, and I go to teenagers and I go to adults, and then I go from Christian fiction to, drama, murder mystery, and I'm going to cozy murder mystery later this year. And so the biggest thing is to challenge them to use your imagination, to pay attention to everything that you see in every aspect of your life, because there's always a story there, whether you're in a restaurant eating or whether you're at a convention, whether you're going to work, there's always a story there. And to challenge yourself, and how can you make that story better, but also how I've survived 17 years and I've never had writer's block. And that's the biggest thing.
All right. Next up, we have Alicia Sadler. Alicia's topic is polishing your work, connecting with your audience. Miss Alicia, what should people expect from your portion at the conference?
Well, as we all know, perfecting your craft and making sure that you're polishing your work and grabbing your audience are one of the two elements that are important um, on your journey. And so we want to talk about that. We want to make sure that we also talk about being authentic. You don't have to. I always say you need a blueprint. Don't necessarily need a mentor, but you do need a blueprint. You need to see how others are moving so that you can learn what it looks like, so that you can adjust how you're going to move around. Make sure that you're paying attention to detail, and your emotional impact that you make towards your audience is what kind of pulls them into you. I always talk about eye candy. Everybody likes some good eye candy. And the eye candy for your book is not just the cover, it's not just the synopsis, but it is you, your personality, and how you're grabbing your audience. So we're going to talk about that and make sure that confidence is there, especially for newer authors that are a little nervous.
Yeah, love that. Great. I'm looking forward to that for sure, Alicia. Next up, we have Dr. Velma Bagby, using fiction to share the truth about love and relationships. Dr. Velma, what should we expect from your portion at the conference?
All of that you just said. Continuing to weave those stories and showing other people how that's possible, because so many, like I said earlier, I even looked at some research that said that you can't find truth in fiction, but there is truth in fiction. People are more accepting of the truth when it's fictional stories. And given my fictional stories in my series, that's exactly what I did. I presented dating relationships and issues that are the challenges of our day, where the problems lie, what's wrong with it, why it's broken, the current system is broken, and then continuing to weave those stories so that people are able to resonate with what I've written. And as a result, so many have said they value reading a dating experience in a fictional story, and it's done more for the readers than I could have imagined.
Love that. Looking forward to that, Dr. Velma. And then we have Dr. Teresa A. Smith. Her topic is going to be connecting with your audience through your own stories. I mentioned, unfortunately, Dr. Todd is not here with us live, but looking forward to seeing how she's been able to do that through her books like Stronger and Transformation in particular, to be able to share her own personal story, but also to inspire other people as well, and how authors can follow that too. And then who's this guy? Wait a minute, that's me. Uh, I think he's here. Yes, Cyrus Webb. Yes, he's going to be here. I'll be opening up the conference on Friday, but on Saturday, my topic will be marketing and promoting yourself from release date and beyond. And you guys know I'm a big proponent in that. Of course, we all know that when it comes to promoting our books, it does not start when the book comes out. It comes ahead of time, being able to let people know who you are, finding those resources for yourself. So I'm excited about being able to share that, and how, my whole thing has always been, It's not about saying you have to come to me, but it really is being able to show that you need to be going to someone,
Yeah.
to be able to get the word out, to amplify your message, and to see how you can be able to grow in your audience as well, because that's going to help you in your career. So again, I'm very excited. I'm so happy that all of you could be here with us today. It really means a lot. You all carved out the time to be with us. I'm so glad you guys could be a part of the conference coming up on April the 19th and the 20th. If our audience has not been able to get their ticket to the conference, the information, you can find it on our social media pages. So make sure you guys do reach out and take advantage of the opportunity, whether you're new, whether you are an aspiring author, whether you're an author who's looking to be able to grow and thrive. As you can see, we have a great panel that's here to be able to help you do just that. So again, I appreciate you guys joining us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. As we wrap up here, we're going to let our audience know how to stay connected with everyone. Felicia, you're up first. How can our audience stay connected with you?
Absolutely. I'm actually Leisha Saller on every platform, I believe, in consistent branding. You can also go to intriguingmoves.com. That's my website, and you'll be able to catch everything I'm doing.
All right, sounds great. Manswell T. Peterson, how can they stay connected with you?
Hey, you guys can find me, Mansfield T. Peterson, on all social media outlets. Hey, message me and I'll message you back.
Sounds great. Robert Blake Whitehill, how can they stay connected with you?
You can just go to Robert Blake Whitehill on Amazon, and all of my books are on Kindle Unlimited. And we've even sold the rights to a German publisher. So if you speak German or know somebody who does, you can get the books in German as well.
All right, love that. Melissa Banks, how can our audience stay connected with you?
Well, we make it real easy. If you just go to themelissabanks.com, you see all of our platforms. You can get your book there. Everything's right there in that one place, and that's themelissabanks.com.
Love that. Tina Siemens, how can our audience stay connected with you?
Tina Siemens at seminalthebook.com. I'm on all social media platforms, and call me, email me. I'd love to hear from you and get back to you.
Love that. And last but certainly not least, Dr. Velma, how can our audience stay connected with you?
Sure. My website is drvelmabagby.com, but I'm on all social media platforms as Dr. Velma Bagby.
Love that. Well, again, thanks to all of you for being with us. I'm so glad you said yes to being a part of the conference, and looking forward to seeing all of you April the 19th and 20th.
Looking forward to it.
Good.
All right. And we thank your audience for tuning in to this special episode of Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. Again, you'll find the books from our presenters in the carousel, whether you're joining us live or catching the replay. You'll see these are here down below or on this side here. Also, if you're new to us on the Amazon side, make sure you guys hit that follow button either here or there in the bottom corner. If you guys are joining us on the other platforms, you'll see a link that will bring you over to Amazon to get your copies of the books as well. Until next time, I'm Cyrus Webb saying thank you so much for being with us. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.